Okay, let's see. We're going to push one more button. Why won't it let me push it? Okay, let's see. Is that going? Let's see. Let's see. Can anyone see if it's going? If it's live?
Live timer.
Okay. But can you see on your
I'm not sure. It's live and a countdown in the top left.
Mark, can you see it anywhere? Can you see it on TikTok at least? Oh, great. So we're on Facebook. For some reason, the go live button, guys, is not working for IG, which is a bummer. But I am gonna try to fix it real quick, and then if it doesn't work, I'm going to move on so that you aren't waiting. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's just see one more time if that works. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna give up on that. Sorry, everybody. We've gotten every issue that we've got. We've
So
we
many.
All right. We are going to go ahead with this conversation and hopefully be able to afterwards get it. I'll clip it and I'll share it with you so that you can put it on your platform, put a clip on your platforms if you want.
Okay.
I'm
That
sorry,
works.
technical difficulties. Well, welcome. It's so good to be with Kay and Kim from No Voice Unheard. For those who don't know, I'm Sam. I'm the host of the Refuse Fascism podcast, and I'm so glad to have you tuning in. Please invite others. We weren't sure exactly how this was going to work out, so didn't do a lot of pre-promoting of it. But I am so glad to be here with Kay and Kim, who have taken the cute winter boots to the next level, bringing into real life protests, not just living on the TikToks. And I'm so glad to be with both of you to talk about protests that you're organizing tomorrow and to talk about the movement that you've been part of really pushing into being to refuse, to reject, to defeat the fascism that we face. So thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So I want to start with what's happening tomorrow. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on tomorrow? Maybe Kim, if you want to start, and then we'll go to Kay.
So basically, I want to start with what it is essentially, or how it started, the cute winter boots movement in general. It's been misconstrued as something that is violent, meaning weapons of some sort. But it's a statement of protest and a reminder of your constitutional right to be heard. And it's about like when, where, and who. And what we're doing is we're trying to connect. And basically tomorrow is the fruits of all the work we've been trying to do with just organizing the information for everybody. And Kay can jump into the 50501 Reddit and explain that part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 50501 really started off like super, super quiet. It was a grassroots thing. It's really just back on Reddit. And, back around January 29th, when everyone else was bringing up all these other protests in the start, I saw something about it. I went and looked into it a little bit. and I saw the mission they were trying to put forward, go out and make a statement at every single capital in every state just to essentially denounce Trump's agenda, to go against Project 2025, stripping away everybody's rights, everything that's happened since then and everything that's going to continue to happen, honestly. So I felt like it was something that we wanted to put out and say, hey, this is happening, and maybe we're not super sure on the details right now. This is a super, super grassroots movement. There's no leader. It was a decentralized organization at first, and it still is right now. But it was something that, we felt really had a lot of, potential to it, to show up and say, hey, we're not going to be quiet and we're going to do it right when you're working. We're going to be right in front of your face and you can't turn away from us. You're going to know that we have a voice and we're going to go out of our way for you to hear it. So
thanks so much for that. One of the things that has been so inspiring is how quickly people have made it their own, have looked at the situation and have said, this is intolerable. I'm gonna join this. I've never protested before. I've never done something before. I've never organized before, but I hate seeing, you know, these raids happening. I hate seeing um, the lives of the trans community under attack. I hate seeing the cruelty and brutality that this regime is raining down. I hate the fact that we are seeing right before our eyes, this whole nightmare unfolding. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to organize. And I think that it's just incredibly refreshing. And when I first came across these protests, I didn't know exactly where they were going to go, whether they were going to take off or not, right? And there are sometimes things that live online and people, want things to happen, but
Exactly.
they aren't really going. There's no real momentum behind them. And I think that it is so refreshing to see people taking this up, and that tomorrow, it seems to be, I think, more than 50 protests happening.
It's
yeah, a
Yes,
lot more.
I just wanted, if there's things that, as women who've been following it, but also not just following it, but promoting it and working to make it as powerful as it can be, kind of what have you guys been experiencing as being in the hub of this, in terms of where you think we're going to see protests tomorrow and what they might look like?
Yeah, well, we've always been someone that's here just to kind of promote and share the word because it's so censored everywhere you go now. You're just waiting for something to come across your feed at the right time to see it possibly. But people had a real chance to take a look and say, hey, this is something that I can think about a little bit. I can start working towards, like, I can tell my friends about. And I think that was a big piece of it, is sharing like our document with people, just to share all that data and say, hey, you're not alone. There's not just some random things floating around out here. There's this real thing that could happen. And it started off at each state, each capital. And very quickly, as as we grew, as our group, 5051 came up along with it as well. I think it went from like 10,000 to 50,000 followers just on Reddit in the
Yeah.
matter of 2 days, which was insane. And people started talking. They were out in their community kind of searching, like, oh, who else is in New York right now? Like, I can't make it to the Capitol. Like, how can I still protest? How can I still be a part of this? Like, it's 9 hours away from me. So a lot of people, they started banding together and saying, well, we have a large group here, then we want to protest the same thing. Like, let's go to our city hall. Let's make the same statement, even though we can't show up there and others might be able to. In fact, others are still showing up and doing that. We're going to spread this message even farther. I love that. And seeing people step up to take the role and to come on and say, hey, yeah, I'm going to go and be here. I'm going to make sure that, if we need a permit, I'll get that. If we need to talk to the police and warn them about it, I'll go ahead and take that initiative on. And that's the biggest thing that's happened. It's just seeing these people be so motivated in the fact of their community wanting to rise up and wanting to take that action and actually making it happen.
Yeah. On TikTok, I mean, that's how it kind of started for me. And the post that I posted, it has almost 9,000 comments, but almost every single one is people saying, oh, is something happening in my state? But then under that is a whole thread of people connecting within that state. So that's where we were all where we came together, and we're kind of like, we are going to connect people so that we can put this all together. And in the Reddit sub, there wasn't really anyone kind of taking all the information and putting it together for somebody to go and look at. And we went ahead and did that, and it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, initially it started with us just having a little notepad and we
Yeah.
in our comments saying like, I'm in Michigan. I'm in Michigan too. I'm in Michigan too. I'm in Michigan too. But no one had any answers.
Right.
We go
Exactly.
around and we were searching and we were looking at the posts that didn't have much to them, and we were saying, hey, like someone's in your area, they're trying to do this, like go find them here, go connect with them, go do what you can. And quickly that turned into me wanting to be a little more organized for us and be like, hey, here's our Excel sheet, this will make it easier for us to like actually tell people and just copy paste it out. And very quickly, I came into the realization that, hey, we can just share this sheet too. People can have access to all of this. And even more so, you can see that there's stuff going on. Even if it's not in your area right now, people are rising up. Even if your state, someone's a few hours away and they're doing a protest, and people underneath that are going, well, what about in, West Palm Beach? I can't make it all the way up to the north side of Florida. Like, where's everyone else at? And then, like Kim's saying, people are uniting under that. And furthermore, just keeping up, and some of them taking on initiative to make their own little protests. And I think that's really been a huge, huge factor of people looking at these 51 protests and saying, maybe this isn't something that's been officially backed by some big organization, but we've already gone and taken the steps to raise our voice on our own. Why
That's
don't we
cool.
continue to do that? Why don't we take this on? Why don't we take the community that we've made here now, and why don't we do something even bigger with it? Why don't we spread the word even more and take it to a larger place? So I think that's just been so beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kate. Kim, you wanted to share something?
It's just, I mean, we saw a void that needed to be filled, and I think that seeing everyone connect just, it made me want to do this so much more. And it honestly, it makes me so emotional to go through and read the comments even now, on the new videos and on the Reddit. I mean, people are so motivated to go and do something about this. And I I've never felt so much more momentum, or I don't know, I just feel it building up in a positive way, and I'm just excited.
I wanted, from there
Sorry
to
about that.
no worries.
Yeah, no, Kim is so right with that though. We get so many people all the time that just reach out to us saying, hey, you've helped me motivate so much to go out and do more. Like, you've helped me realize I'm not standing in this alone. Like, it's not my voice shouting out into a void. I have people around me, and I know in January 29th, like the wake of all those like really mass spread protests, but no action or no organization behind it, but a clear desire for them. I showed up to one in my area that was just kind of like, well, it's at this time, it's at this place, but it could be here too. And I ended up being out there alone, and I knew that, but at the same time, I knew through everything we were doing, I wasn't standing out there alone. I was going to show somebody else that there was also a voice to be heard and to be stood up with. And now, I mean, come to the 50/50 protests, I know in my area, it's going to be very large. I've seen a lot of people that are, cities away being like, we're going to drive out there. Like, me and my family, me and my friends, we're coming out to do this. Like, we're going to be here. We're going to raise our voice. And people commenting, like, I've shared this everywhere I could. Like, we're going to make this happen. And I think that is just so huge. Having something more defined, essentially. I mean, even though it doesn't have that large organization backing it, you as a community, which is everything we've done so far, is coming together and saying, yeah, we're going to step up and we're going to do this, because it doesn't matter who or why. Like, we are going to take our power into our own hands and we're going to make them hear us.
Yep.
Kim, did you want to say anything else? I don't want to
That,
cut you off. Okay.
that
And,
every,
from there, I wanted to talk about what personally compelled the two of you to be part of this and call this call this movement forward, really try to fight for these little seedlings of resistance, um, to strengthen and grow and spread, and why you think that this kind of mass resistance, is needed now.
Oh, I think we
I
lost
think
Kay.
we lost Kim. I hopefully she'll be back.
Oop. All right.
And there she is.
Technical difficulty.
No problem. I was just speaking to what, posing to you both what's compelling you to be part of building and promoting mass resistance right now.
So for me, I mean, a major part of it, I've had a lot of time just by myself. I'm in between jobs and I'm very passionate about politics and everything going on. And for the past month, I've just been spiraling, honestly. And doing this has helped me so much to just put all of that energy, all that negative energy into something that is positive and can grow and is exciting to look forward to. And it's if I didn't have this, I really think I just would have kept spiraling. And I mean, there's a lot of people in my life that I'm fighting for. I'm going through some things that I need to fight for as well. And it's time to stand up and do something because I just can't sit around anymore. I have to try.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even the same thing here, almost like for the past, I mean, years at this point, things have just felt like they've been slowly breaking away. And you try and hold on to your life, you try and do what you can to enjoy what you have. And then, I mean, just recently, it's been hitting such a breaking point. I mean, one thing after another, and they're so monumental is the other thing. And at what point is it just, oh well, I can live my own life, I can be fine doing this? And what point is it, no, this is enough and something needs to happen? And searching at first, like, what can I do personally? And then finding that outlet of saying, hey, we can help people find community, and hearing all these people motivated by us. I mean, it keeps you going to say, we are making a change and we're making other people realize that they can make a change. I feel like that's the most important part to me, is we're
Exactly.
inspiring people here. And I love that. We're here for the people. We are very much average people that have come and just tried to help everybody at a certain point.
I think a lot of people just thought they were alone and we're just trying to show them that they're not at all. And I think we're finally starting to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. I want to say that anybody that's watching, please share this. More people need to know about tomorrow and tomorrow's actions, and more people need to learn from Kim and Kay and their experience of looking at the fascist nightmare, and instead of going and seeking for self or trying to put their head down and just try to make it through, they said, "F that. We need to stop this," and are mobilizing people to take action at a time where it really, really, really is urgently needed and can actually make a big difference. And I just wanted to, comment on the fact that a lot of what we've seen thus far in this already dizzying 2 weeks, over little over 2 weeks of the Trump regime, part of what stood out to me about these calls for protest is that people have been putting the word fascism on their posters, on their sign, on their digital flyers and stuff like that. And I think that it's really important, not just because we're the Refuse Fascism podcast and we say the word fascism to correctly describe this regime, but because it's what we face. And we do need to defend immigrant lives, and we do need to defend the trans community, and we do need to defend women's right to abortion and basic humanity, and we do need to do all of those things. We do need to defend the environment against further destruction from this regime. All of those are needed, but what undergirds that whole attack is fascism. And so I really, appreciated that so many people were taking that up and taking that on and doing that from their own understanding. And I just wanted to share for people a little bit of, people get upset, call the F word still hyperbolic, even as it's rapidly unfolding right in front of them, even though it's, consolidating quite quickly, even though it's not yet consolidated. And so I just wanted to put a few points out there to help in understanding what we face so that we can fight it commensurately. And so I think that a lot of people, and you probably sense this too, is like people use the fascism word to describe like all the shit that they hate, right? Every bad Republican policy is just like, well, then that's fascism. And it's actually something particular, that it's a qualitative change in the form of rule in this country. And it is obliterating the norms, it's eviscerating the basic rights of people, including and especially the rights the rights of people to oppose it, to resist, to stop it, right? So that means seeking to eviscerate people's right to protest, but also in the streets, but also seeking to uh or working to eviscerate the ability for people within the halls of power to resist. And that's what we see with these mass purges. This is what we see with people being, basically forced into resignation and fired, suspended. All of that is part of the same thing. And that it relies on open terror and violence. And if people do not think that they are seeing that now, they need to wake themselves up. And I just think that violence is both from the state. It's the violence that we see, um, when people are being ripped out of hospitals and ripped out of schools and ripped out of churches by ICE, but it's also the mass terror that we see, that threat of violence, not just from the state, but from their shock troops, their fascist thugs, all the Enrique Tarrios and Rhodes, all the 1,500 that got pardoned, like that is part and parcel of this fascism. And then I just wanted to say one last thing about it that relates to your protest is that if we're able to understand it as fascism, we understand that part of what they're doing is ripping up norms that do exist, right? Like trying to change the Constitution to do away with birthright citizenship, right? Or do away with due process for immigrants, or just shredding that, right? And then a part of it comes from the institutions as they exist, the norms that exist, like the fact that ICE does exist, or the fact that, police terror has been police terror since the conception, of the police. So some of those things are built into the institutions and built into the norms. And so if all we do is try to cling to the institutions and cling to the norms, we can actually confront the fascism.
Exactly.
And what you both have been such big players in is helping people break away from that and see their agency and see that, look, no one is coming. There is no Calvary that's coming that isn't us. We are the only force that can do this. Not just the three of us, right?
Yeah.
But the millions and millions that hate Trump and everything he stands for. And it's by us putting our bodies in the streets and saying, no, we're not going to tolerate. We're not going to tolerate any of this, and refusing fascism and putting forth, that positive morality, that positive vision within that, and that's why I really appreciate the slogan that we use, which is, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. We're doing this with the care of people all around the globe, and with the aspirations of all of humanity. And we're carrying that with us into the streets tomorrow, but not stopping there. And so I just wanted to bring that into the conversation. I don't know if you have any thoughts that you wanted to share off of that? No pressure if you don't.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, it truly is we the people, and that's what we're gonna prove. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I think also the fact is like they're here trying to demonize and separate certain people here, right? And they're sitting up on the top. They're fine. They're getting their own control. They're living their life. It's all good. But we, the people down below, we're the ones that are being divided. We're being instilled with fear, and not just with people around us, but in the fear of doing anything too. I mean, we're being separated left and right, and you can clearly see it. I think it's just, I mean, it's something you have to fight against. And that's a big thing about this protest too, is getting out there and letting people see you, being known, being heard, being at every capital.
Loud.
Everyone is going to hear about you. Everyone's going to hear about what you're doing. And even if they weren't even knowledgeable, because we have people come back and be like, I didn't even know this is a thing. I'm appalled. Like, how does this not happen? They could be sitting at home and then all of a sudden they turn on the news and they hear about this big storm front taking the nation. They're going to realize there is power. There is a choice. There is a time that we can stand together as people and be united. I mean, that's what we all started for here, right? Is nation united. That is not the case right now, and I think we need that.
And like you said, this is not the only one. This is the first one.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I wanted to get into to a little bit about like what you see as next in this movement, but I did want to, speak to something, Kay, that you were saying was like making their voices heard and being seen. And I think that people, I say this all the time, but I really believe it, is people stand up when they see others standing up.
Yeah.
And we right now, like we need to be we may not want to be, but we need to be the first ones, right?
Yeah.
We need to go out there and we need to break it so that people can see themselves in this, right? I mean, protest, yes, is about we need to make things ungovernable for the Trump regime. We have to make it so that they can't get any more of their horrendous program through. That has to be our mission.
Absolutely.
But in doing that, when we're in the streets, we're not just speaking to the regime. We're speaking to the people who aren't acting. And we're
Exactly.
calling them forward. And we're saying there's a place for you. You're welcome. And we're also saying that silence is complicity at this point. And you don't need to be silent. You can be with us. And we can do tremendous things, but we can only do that together.
Right.
Exactly.
Things are still unwritten, but we have to get together really quick to start writing a different future, So I think that what you were saying just really resonated with me. I wanted to know, what can people do on East Coast time? It's 5:35. Okay. What can people on the East Coast do? On the West Coast, it's a little bit earlier. They have a little bit more time. What can we all do with the time that we have to make sure that tomorrow is really massive refusal of the Trump regime's fascist program? What actions do you feel that people could take to make tomorrow make as much impact as possible?
I mean, I think people, telling their neighbor, bringing their friends, saying,
Mhm.
hey, we're going to go and that's it. It doesn't matter what happens there. We're going to go and we're going to speak our voice no matter what. I know there's some smaller groups and I see that same kind of mentality out of them where they're like, I don't care if I'm the only one there. I'm going to go and I'm going to stand tall. I mean, I know I've had that happen. Like I said before, I knew people would come and walked away from somewhere because they were alone. And I kind of said to myself, well, even though I'm shaking here in my car, I don't want to get out. Ooh, excuse me. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to stand up.
Yeah. And I mean, there's tons of posters floating around everywhere. If you have social media, I mean, you could just Google and find one, but also in the 50501 Reddit sub, there are hundreds and hundreds of posters for each state, everything. I mean, if just go post one, share it anywhere. Yeah.
I know we're working on a few as well.
Yeah.
As a more of a centralized poster. We're going to post some of those if you follow along on our link trees. Oh my. But if you follow along our link trees, we'll post some of those and print out your states, go walk around your city, put it up on a lamppost, let people know, because people do not see this. It doesn't come up on their phones. It's being held back from them, So when they're walking around, going to get their coffee in the morning, and they see this and go, "What is that?" Something they've never seen before. Educate people. Let them know what's happening.
We're definitely going to share it, Kay, on our email list. We did include it. I included it in that last week's episode, and so there was like a link with the Reddit and things like that. But if y'all are creating some more, posters that people could put out or anything else, send them to me and we can include them. And we're going to send it out to our email list. I think first thing tomorrow morning, just as a reminder for people to go out. But we can share on our other platforms as well. So, feel free to send us stuff.
I have a link ready to go for you with every single state. And I'll send it.
That would be amazing. Because that was going to be my next question is where do you find the best place for people to go? Because I, during my lunch break today, I was looking and I, came across, I guess, some people, I know it's all decentralized, but some people had created like a website and it had a map, but and it had locations, but it seems to not have all the locations. So where do you recommend that people go to find a protest near them?
Yeah, so 5051 themselves is trying to better coordinate. It was very, very decentralized in the start, and the original people that proposed the idea, they left it. And a new team came in and said, hey, you know what? This needs someone to be pushing forward and to help people pull together, because it is still a community, but we're only as strong as the people next to us, and we need people standing up to say, hey, let's make this happen. So they've been kind of trying to centralize, and we've been working very closely with them as well over the past 15 hours. I don't know how long I've spent sitting down at this computer, sifting through info, page after page, just trying to find everything I can on it, seeing what the community there is actually saying, where they're going to be at, what permits they have. I mean, everything. And we have a source for that as well. There's also, Be the Revolution, or Be the Resistance. They have a whole page, the whole list of it as well. Any of these places you can check out, there's more and more. We're just trying to make sure that people get the right times out, people know where to be and how to show up properly. And I mean, you can start acting now too. Take those flyers, walk around your city, post them up.
Yeah. For example, I mean, those flyers, I worked with someone random in the Reddit sub who was just so dedicated, clearly a graphic designer from somewhere, and just created the most incredible posters and did all 50 states. We went through, we did all of the edits. There are so many people willing to just do anything we need, and it's incredible.
People want to help, and it's so clear, and they just need direction. And we're hoping to help give some of that. And especially in the coming days, like this protest is going to really bring a big rally around the fact of we can do something. And we're trying to, figure out how to push people into doing more, how to tell them where to go and what they can do, because this isn't the end. This is the start.
Exactly. Can you tell more about how you see that? What do you feel like this needs to be a start of?
I mean, I know talking with the people that are kind of taking over 5051 there at their actual home base, if you will, they're trying to get it a little more frequent. Maybe this is something that we do every month. And we'll be promoting them on our pages as well as, all the smaller protests of people coming together in their local town, wanting to stand up to. And then, giving them the other resources just to say, hey, here's some even bigger organizations that are putting on protests. Here's some more resources for you to know your rights as a protester. Here's how you can feel comfortable going out and doing this stuff. And then you're ready. Next time this big protest comes around and even more people know about it, you're ready to stand even taller. You're ready to rally with all those connections you've made, all those friends you've met along the way with all those same values that want to see a better life for everybody. And you can all go rally together, make it even bigger than last time, shout even louder.
Yeah, I mean, we have a website being built, everything. So it's just going to be more mainstreamed, put together, so right in people's faces, so that it's just simple, easy to digest, no excuses.
Yeah, we're on a Google Doc right now, which, you know, can sort a lot of information, but at certain times it can be a little cluttered. And we're making that move over hopefully by the end of this week here too.
I mean, I just want to underscore again. I said it before, but, like, you are looking at an emergency situation, acting on emergency footing. And the fact that it isn't all perfect right away, the fact that you are acting it at all and not just like, oh, I'm going to do this, but creating a vehicle for thousands and thousands of people to act is I just hope you know how precious that is. And unfortunately, it's too rare, and I'm just full of gratitude that I've been connected with you, and the work that you're doing. It really,
Yeah.
really matters. It really matters. Um, and I wanted to. I think earlier you had mentioned that there's a hashtag for
Mhm.
the actions that you want to make sure that people know about.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
hashtag
built
build the resistance. That's where we're trying to get
Say
all
it
these
one more time.
build the resistance.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps out a little bit. 5051 doesn't always work on a lot of sites. For some reason, hashtags do not like all numbers. So we're going to stand together. We're going to build the resistance and we're going to shout it out as loud as we can. We're going to make sure everyone knows. So we'll make this trend, make it find everyone's phone at home, you know, if the news didn't show them, because obviously they haven't shown us all of it. They can find other ways. We're going to make this pop up in their face.
Is there anything else before we close this out? And then, we'll get together. Maybe we'll do something for the podcast after the fact, and you can tell me about how everything went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely have some updates for you guys after. But I mean, for right now, just get out there, spread it, spread the
Yep.
word, let people know what's actually happening, and let people know we're standing tall as a community. This is not just something that we're dreaming about. Like, this is each and every one of us standing together.
And just don't listen to people who tell you not to protest. It
Yeah,
does matter. Just get out there.
yeah,
Just get out there.
I agree. Don't listen. Don't listen to those people because they're telling you that they're okay with the way things are.
Exactly.
And if you're not okay, then then now is the time to act. If you're not okay with what's happening, now is the time to act. So I just wanted to again thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kay, for joining me and for for work for making this happen. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but we solved this
Oh,
through.
we
Um,
made it work.
yeah, we made it work. I'll clip it. I'll send it to you. And for people to connect with you, we should all go and follow at No Voice Unheard. Is that the first step, or
right now we're
So
on a
right now we're working on building our website. And when we have that website set, we'll have a proper social set just for No Voice Unheard. But for now, we have a link tree going around with all the information you guys can find on the protest. And we'll make sure to send that out to you and you can get it out in the bios and stuff as well.
okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Take care.
you too.
I'm going to end this. Okay.
Sounds good. Bye.